Bing, 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 bing. It says we're live. It's Sam here at the moment. I am thinking PayPal is what I want to be doing. So on the PayPal front, right, I realized reviewing my own experimental pull request that in order for the PayPal thing to work, we were going to have to skip the this verify authenticity token here. I guess having made that one change, I should. That is the wrong place. No, it's the wrong place. Let's go over here and hit the. What have we got there? Let's do upsell to premium. Those two. So I want to check that removing that verification token thing doesn't screw with the Stripe submission, which it appears not to. That's good. Let's also check the rest of the functionality that's related to the premium upgrades. Okay. So there's a point there about yes, about the helpers that was being made by Matt, which was that sensibly these two things would be in a different stuff. Yes, so I could. I just split this vertically. Oh, and there was that refactoring that I wanted to do. Rerun search. Okay. Oh. Have I got premium steps? I think everything in here should be in there. Okay, so I think yes, okay, let's put that there. And let's delete the charge steps because we didn't, this the premium steps. Okay. Okay, in the background, you're still thinking about doing all those. Send me a text. All right. So, okay, and well, I probably completely killed that by too many changes at once. Rats. Okay. We'll see what happens there. Okay. Okay, getting distracted. Right. Thinking about how I can at least create these in the config without breaking everything else, can't I? So what I want there is the PayPal form URL in production. You get like PayPal form URL. This is, and we'll just grab that. And then we've got form assets URL. In the production mode is this. Form assets root. But so then the equivalent, you stick that in, then in development, it's going to be this sandbox entity is the, and the sandbox there, and I mean, would that be simpler if it's across those two? Is it better to put it in here? Default setting, and then we override it for production rather than putting it in two places. Okay. Leave that production we have there. Okay. Oh, that's gosh, these take long. Time to run. Okay. So, and then I think it's like settings, isn't it? Okay. Right. Okay. So now, have I closed the view? Come Brent, subscriptions premium. Okay, so that's green. In principle, we could remove this. And does it become dot now then? Okay. So let's. And we've got that as root, haven't we? Okay, I'm thinking that might work. Let's help her there. Don't need to look at that. The roots is not going to change.
Sorry, I was eating that much.
That's right. So I've just made some refactorings based on, well, I've just been checking that the skip before filter verify authenticity token does not break the existing functionality. And on Matt's suggestion, I just pulled the some of the settings or these things related to PayPal routes into the settings thing, and we'll see if that keeps everything green or not. Just look. Okay. So I think the things that I should probably be doing next, we've got. I guess I have an inclination to move the. I have an inclination to. So we've got some doubling up now. because the charge activity I think was poorly named, and so what we've basically got is that there's a charge activity there. Subscribe self to premium. So what we've got now, this corresponds to this. Bloody phone. This corresponds to this. So this now is kind of not. It's just doubling up and it's just slowing down our thing. I guess I've got the argument there that these 4 could be converted to scenario outlines. I guess I'm thinking, I don't know, not so comfortable with scenario outlines. I mean, I guess there's different ways to go. There's, I'll write this all down. What we could be doing is make PayPal work for all plans. We've got part of in there. And there's an argument that it might, well, the only thing stopping it working possibly is the absence of those particular plans on the PayPal. They should be creatable. There's add sad path for PayPal. User changes card details. I mean, there's also refactoring card details updates to different controller. Is related to also move upgrade to update. And that would need to happen first. This is like subscriptions controller to update. That has to happen after that. There is, I think that the sad path has got to be the higher priority, at least in terms of the single pull request, and arguably sponsor via PayPal. I guess if I add this one, then arguably this pull request can be, that's all, it's all green, that's good. And then that could be a separate piece of work to deal with the sponsorship.
You wanted to get sponsorship because someone's gonna.
Yeah, that's the key. I think that's the key goal. Potentially, we get 3 people signed up before Christmas, and they may only be sponsored for a couple of months, but then they're people who may enjoy the Agile Ventures process and and then subscribe, extend their subscriptions or whatever. So it's kind of it's good stuff to do. I mean, the other key thing that I want is to have generic support for plans. So I don't want any of the plans hard coded in the system. So we can just if we come up with a plan idea, we can just stick it in PayPal. We create the appropriate thing in PayPal and what is it? PayPal and Stripe, and then we just sort of do it. Although it's interesting because we've got this.
So you have several things, right? PayPal. Say I buy a premium plan with PayPal, and how do I upgrade it?
At the moment, you can't because we don't have we don't have the higher level plans kind of registered with PayPal.
And if you did and you rolled that out, so when I do that for Stripe, say I went and upgraded my Stripe plan.
Yeah.
my premium to face,
Uh-huh.
would you have to manually cancel my premium so that I wasn't charged?
I would at the moment. I mean,
Additional?
in fact, the Stripe dashboard allows me to just upgrade you, and I wouldn't have to do any canceling. I mean, I just did this yesterday for Azizo. He said he wanted to do premium face to face, and I said right, and I did it through the Stripe dashboard. So at the moment, there's this easy path that involves the manual step on my thing. We've got it set up so that you can upgrade to Premium Plus without, and it actually does the same thing. But we haven't got it set up for. I mean, there's a separate thing which is like allowing users to upgrade themselves through the website one interface, and then there's also we've got like displaying all the plan options and upgrades effectively. So there's a lot of stuff. I'm prioritizing this one and this one as two immediate potential sources of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But, although I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe like if I made this one, if I made it easy, but like actually reaching out to me and asking me to upgrade it, maybe kind of a sizable barrier for some people. If they just saw it in the interface, it was an option. We'd get 20 more upgrades and job done. Who knows? I mean, the thing I was just reflecting is that in this new what I was doing with Matt while you were doing icing voter is that this form. So like we can't use the stored buttons in PayPal if we want to get this redirection at the end. So we've had to go with this custom form, which works, it's fine. But essentially the form itself actually fully specifies all the elements of the plan. And I think I have created the plan, and we've got the item name premium. I guess it's maybe that's not dissimilar to the situation that we have with Stripe, where you like here it's got the amount in this and description, but then actually it hits like a plan key on the other side, and this could be completely out of sync with that. But so I mean, there's another thing in here which is refactoring. Oh God, was it refactoring our domain model to store plan entities and represent everything properly and consistently. And as we put more things in, the order in which to do things, there's more present, and it's probably not worth worrying too much about it. I mean, I think in order to like merge this current PayPal one, and it may be good to like merge, even though the critical goal is this, it may be good to merge the current one and wing it on its way to production, so that we just get that sort of integration kind of going before pushing on for the sponsor thing. Or I'm trying to work out where the sponsor thing actually is, because we've got charge activity, we've got sign up for, so we've got we've got the 4 different plans, then we've got the SAD path, then we've got the card change details. Okay, fair enough. So then, okay, so all right, we're the sponsor other member, right? So this, that right. I was thinking that was empty, but no, we do have that, and this one, and this. So what we want is then to do. Yeah, we want like the version of this that does PayPal, but that feels like another set. I guess what I'm tempted to do in the charge activity is see, like, so we've got, so this is now covered in here. So let's remove that, and then I guess what I want to do is let's pull the SAD path for that into here, maybe. So this is pay by card, but encounter error.
Sorry, yeah.
And then I think what I want is, I want the equivalent of, I want this in here. So pay by PayPal, but encounter error. I mean, there's an error, or is there less to go? See, with another PayPal, they've got like a cancel. I mean, they've also got like a more recent JavaScript thing, which I was looking into, and then there was a lot of tokens. That's this thing, which I think allows this more seamless experience and staying on our site. But I basically opened a ticket for that since we had the more basic one working. That's all this. I sort of almost started down that path, and I was like, okay, no, that's going to take like I don't know. Sandbox token. Okay, so what's this? This is sample HTML button code. Yeah, so that's all how we got that form sandbox text account.
Was auto redirect working, or
it is now? Yes, yes, it is. It is all working. Brain. But so, what have I got there?
it was just a setting?
Yes, it was ultimately just a setting. It was kind of difficult to find because, oh god, what was it? Another develop. Why was it difficult to? I think there's something like weird, like the sandbox accounts and everything. They just, I don't know.
So anyway,
losing the navigation bar or for something. Anyway, I finally got in there and found the right place, and it's done. I'm just, yeah, okay, that's the documentation I'm looking for. Which tells me, because there's this return thing, and then they have a cancel return. I don't know if, well, it's certainly, I mean, I guess the errors, you know, if they have a card error or what have you, or a PayPal insufficient funds or what have you, they'll just not be returned to our site. I guess it'll, you know, the current mechanism, it will show that. I mean, I guess it's conceivable that it will hit the cancel return, but
do you want to test it? I mean, just like manually test it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the sandbox thing, and I can kind of cancel it and go through it. I'm almost just tempted to at least find the place where it goes into the premium thing here. Basically, yeah, it would just be this. If we had one. Gosh, what's happening there? I think somebody's, yeah. I've also, like, so now I've invited all the people who didn't get invited before on Agile Ventures. Are
you getting distracted?
I am being distracted. Some people are now DMing me. This is where I need the more. See, I've got the bot kind of starting to talk to them, but the people who are
right, you need like a conversation.
Yeah, I'm getting good data for the kind of conversations that the bot will need to support in future.
And your goal is basically to just have a bot represent you on Slack?
Well, I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to augment myself with a bot. So I want to be able to take over the parts of the conversation that the bot can't cope with, but those bits that are automated, then I'm, I want to improve my efficiency in the appropriate places. Oh, good God, now might. Okay, and there's this whole process of trying to like keep marked on red, and somebody called. I should have turned off Slack, shouldn't I? Oh God. Oh no, I guess there's another way to look, isn't it, for the most recent conversations. Here we go. Oh, Marcus is his name. Okay, that's done. So there's this thing, which I've somehow managed to delete. Right. Okay. And then just thinking about and it would kind of almost require us to have a, I guess the thing to do actually in the first instance is maybe if we don't have cancel return, I guess it's still going to, if I have that in there, it's still going to try and create it, isn't it? Let's just remove that. So if I run it now, I have this run. Do I have Puma running? I don't. If I run the server, well, I think I have it set up. So just going to localhost here, right? Should no? Oh Christ! And that's because right, you need to be in a new tab because I've upgraded the database. So we can destroy that tab and BE Rails server. Failure to move quickly enough. Each rest of what is this? What is okay, so if we go here, so we've now got this thing, we can log in. So this is all using the sandbox. So now here, it's interesting, it doesn't look like I have an option to cancel. Change payment method. Okay, and then cancel. It's our only option is agree. So I feel. I mean it feels like we're probably not helping ourselves, bending over backwards to deal with that stuff. I mean, I can simulate different sorts of errors. Like, so we've got like when PayPal updates our endpoint, and we've got these things. So at the moment we're relying upon, you know, certain. I think it's like incorrectly. Like we're relying upon there being, for example, a payer email. So, you know, for whatever reason, I think that the issue, we just want to sort of and then I can just run the subscribe self to premium feature. Oh, let's run that whole thing. There we go. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so those will work. Yeah. But that, I was expecting that to fail. I guess it feels, I guess it's going to attempt to send an email to the, I'm surprised that it puts an email in the queue there. I mean, other things, I guess all of these other things can be nil. I mean, the particular thing that it really should.
When do you have to nip off today?
Say again?
I said, when do you have to nip off today?
Another 15 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to do that now, do I? I want to do, what line is that? This is line 39. Yeah. I mean, if they don't get the email there, I guess what I really want to do is just get this pull request in and start the, yeah, there we go. Right. So I guess what I would like to happen here, we've got subscriptions controller, like if something goes wrong. See, at the moment we're only catching the Stripe errors. See, and I think, I feel like here, I would much rather just catch, like if there's errors, you know, don't like give them a 500 server error. Let's take them back to the thing and say, I'm sorry, that didn't work, or what have you. If Stripe error.
Isn't there something problematic with catching all errors?
Well, they say that. I think what's particularly poor is if you catch all errors and don't do anything with it.
Right.
I
mean, people say it's problematic to catch all errors. Right?
I think there's two different kinds of, there's like two base errors in Ruby, and one of them is okay to catch and the other one is not, or something. That's what I was reading.
Is it kind of like the difference I know in Java, like there's the runtime error.
Right.
That's kind of like you.
Oh, here we go. It's rescue standard error, not exception. There's a, what is this? The default. Right. Rescue exceptions. We don't want to rescue exceptions, however. Exceptions that aren't standard errors are reserved for things like interrupt when we hit Control-C and no memory error.
Right.
Right. So I think what we should do is we should say, oh, and I guess if I input correctly, and the user should not receive a welcome, and I should.
So I guess the point is that if you just caught exceptions, right?
Yes.
And at some point in the future, like you got a memory out of memory exception, it would just be swallowed.
Yeah, and it would keep on, and people might be like,
we would never maybe get the errors.
Yeah.
That we should be getting bubbling up to our services.
So that's okay. Okay. Well, I guess I wonder if at that point, with the rack test, can we see the contents of the rack test contents of Flash? No, well, screw that, I guess. So that, I mean, I think that it's probably kind of enough for this PR. Okay. this is refactors helper methods to config and adds sad path, removes duplication, charges activity. Okay.
Anyway, I think we're making some progress.
Definitely.
How do you feel about the working on 2 different tracks, at least some of the time? Or
yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I think yeah, yeah. I, in combination, I need to demarcate times when I have to like move fast on something as well. If I push that up,
do you think I slow you down? Or
well, I think what I notice is I think in any pairing session there's room for helping. It's not a linear thing, right? Because sometimes a separate perspective can be extremely helpful. I think what I've noticed in some of our recent pairing sessions is that you get, it feels like you get quite frustrated. And
recently, not really. Not that frustrated.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear that you're not feeling frustrated. Sometimes it comes across that way, and I think we can end up, getting into a kind of discussion, or you can be irritated at me for the, that you can't see the part of the screen that you want to, and
well, that's a continuing thing. But
yeah, indeed. But so yeah, I think both ways it's important for both of us to be clear about, when we're going to work in a certain way. I think if we're both upfront and clear about, right, I'm now going to work in this way, then that's helpful for both of us.
I guess you don't like it when I get irritated at all, or
I guess I would say, I mean, I was reflecting today how, before I went to Makers Academy and we were pairing on local supports, I don't remember ever feeling negative about our pairing. I thought, we worked together really well, and we got a lot done. And I'm not sure what's changed. I mean, partly it's this thing, but I mean, back then I was working for HPU, maybe I was in less of a hurry. Now when we pair, it feels like you get irritated with me for over to varying degrees. We've talked about it before. I feel like it's less fun than it used to be, and maybe that's my fault for just being too stressed about wanting to make progress at a certain speed. But right. Not that we don't have, not that we don't have great sessions and make great progress on some occasions, but other times I end up feeling kind of negative at the end of kind of like, but maybe that is more to do with me than is any change on your part.
Maybe I'm just being too more assertive now, or
maybe I don't know. I think partly the screen thing is an issue that we've talked about. I think it's I think it's good to be assertive. I think I think there's also, and for both of us to be able to give ground. I mean, I think there's
I feel like it's hard to give ground, I guess, is what I'm saying.
It's hard for you to give ground, or for
me to get you to give ground.
Right. Well, maybe I should give ground more. I guess yeah. I mean that's I think in any relationship that there's always both of those things. I guess the all right, I have to upload that. Yeah, I mean, I think there's.
I just feel like sometimes it's hard to. I think a lot of it's when you're driving, right?
No, well, I think we had the situation just now, earlier today, where
I was driving, right, and I got a little bit
driving. Yeah, and I guess, and I think you were frustrated with the thing not doing what you wanted, and I think we got to the bottom of it, and I mean, I think in any human interaction, I mean, I have the same thing with my children and then with each other, or indeed with just other, like, I mean, adults and other people I'm interacting with, is like there's always room for both sides to make concessions, in getting anything done.
What would you have me do?
Oh, I'm not. Well, I'm not. I guess it's the. I mean, you already committed to, like, sort of trying to be more patient. I guess. I find that it feels like you get irritated with my behavior sometimes, and I find that experience unpleasant. And it kind of, when I contrast, for example, a period where I just worked alone and I got something done, or maybe with someone else who didn't seem to get so irritated, I'm like, oh, that was a preferable experience, the one where I was with Michael, where he seemed to be getting quite irritated. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of. I get the feeling like I'm in principle quite happy to work by myself to get stuff done, and I'm happy to have people kind of like come in and I think in situations where I'm also quite interested in pairing. I get the feeling like you're much less comfortable working by yourself. Is that accurate? Or I don't know. Like it feels like you're very keen to, for us to both be focused on working on the same problem.
Well, I like working with other people sometimes, but I can work by myself.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly I've seen you get lots of great things done individually. Yeah, maybe that's a red herring.
I'm not sure what you would have me do in terms of not getting frustrated. Like, is that actually possible for me to never get frustrated?
Well, I think, it's kind of, and I get frustrated. I don't know. I mean, sometimes when the computer's not working or the software's not doing what I expected to do, I get frustrated. I guess when I get frustrated, do you find that unpleasant if I'm getting frustrated with the software?
No.
So maybe you're just more tolerant than me, and I'm intolerant, and I need to become more tolerant, or maybe I need to become less sensitive.
Yeah, I kind of don't let other people's emotions affect me that much. But I'm not sure how to stop myself from getting frustrated.
No, well, and I wouldn't necessarily, sort of, I think we are who we are, and it's sort of in some ways. I'm not saying change your behavior. I'm just observing the behavior, and I'm observing how I think particularly in the last few months, like I felt, and we've talked about it before. I mean, I think, yeah, I just want to get like, I really, 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 really want to get to a point where I'm not burning down my savings, and I'm kind of like looking now at, I've got like a few weeks left, and in those circumstances, like I kind of am very sensitive to like having a session where it's kind of, I don't know, we're kind of arguing about this direction or that direction. I kind of, I really appreciate input, but I want to, I just have to get some things done. So I think, I'm not saying change your behavior. I'm just saying that I think going forward over the next few weeks, I think there's going to be some sessions where I say, look, I want to drive on this. And if I'm moving the screen around too fast or what have you, then that's something I think I'd like you to accept that.
Okay.
I don't have the space to slow it down right now because I need to move as fast as I need to move. And I'll try and say that up front going into those sessions, so you don't feel too frustrated about me doing that.
And I'll try to not be frustrated.
Well, I think,
or not to express it.
No, well, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I think if you're frustrated, be frustrated. I think just I wouldn't change. But don't try. I think you already said that you were talking about working on being more patient. I mean, I think that's a lifetime's work for all of us. I have an ongoing commitment to myself to try and be more patient with my kids who irritate me no end. With them, I think
the way is to be more sensitive myself internally about when I'm starting to get frustrated, and then to take a step back. But that can be difficult at times.
Totally agreed. And
that level of awareness when you really just want to get the thing done.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's something I would end up saying a lot to people at Makers Academy in another context, is I think that it's monitoring your own emotional kind of temperature. That's almost the kind of critical thing for like, I think life partly, but I think particularly with computers, because I feel like with computers, we're almost like trying to send a lot of emotional signals to the computers. Like that's what I think getting frustrated is like, we don't get frustrated like randomly. I think we get frustrated because it's a way of signaling to our tribe, right? Like evolutionary, that we need help and support to an extent, and it has that effect when you're working in a group. And I think often when it's the computer that's being difficult, we're kind of unconsciously sending these signals of frustration to the computer, and if we're then doing it with PairProgramming or mob programming, what have you, it can kind of get out of kilter. And so monitoring your own internal emotional temperature.
I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people get frustrated a lot from what I see, interacting with different people.
Yes.
So, and I think a lot of them get frustrated. They express it much more militantly than I do. Quite a few people do.
I think that there is a huge there's a huge range.
Maybe my voice level changes a little bit here and there, and you're picking up on that. Whereas I think I've had people kind of just almost melt down, and if a number of people, and I think if I didn't interact with those people, I'd probably have a very small circle of people that I interacted with.
Indeed.
So I don't know what.
Well,
I guess you're saying you don't want to pair with someone if it's not going to be enjoyable.
Well, to a degree, and I'm not saying that it's not. What I'm not saying is I don't enjoy pairing with you. I'm saying that sometimes I'm finding that I don't enjoy it, and that doesn't mean that I'm saying I want to stop pairing with you and never pair with you again. It means that I'm, telling you how I feel about that, and maybe the result of that is that I need to become less sensitive. But I think what I'm in the short term, before I've managed to become less sensitive, I'm maybe going to be signaling to you that there are certain sessions where I just going to really want to push on and get done, and I may cut off what I think is an unproductive argument more directly, or I may say, well, I'm sorry that you can't, you weren't able to focus on that thing. I'm going to go in this direction now, and I just need to do that. And I hope that,
yeah,
I think it's important to communicate that up front. So we'll see. I mean, we'll keep on. It's it's a life's work to work out how to sort of be with other people and how to operate effectively, and that's of course partly what Adventures is all about. I've got to take my boys to their football thing now, but so maybe I'll see you around tomorrow.
Sure. I mean, do you think I'm an exceptionally difficult person?
No. I've encountered far more difficult people than you. Absolutely. And I wouldn't, if you were such a difficult person, I wouldn't be attempting to explain these things. I mean, that's to a certain extent a measure of our friendship and our of working together for the last few years. That I think you're open to feedback, and I also appreciate feedback from you. So let's keep on giving each other feedback and keep on, doing the agile thing to the work process and adjust, trying to find that sweet spot where everything is.
Sounds good.
Nice one. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.